Okay, in today's video, I'm going to break down the exact playbook I sit with my clients when they're thinking about selling their homes. Now, selling your home has gotten a little bit harder over the last couple of years. During the peak of the pandemic, these crazy markets, you could just throw your home on the market, let the buyers line up, get, a dozen offers on it and just pick the best one and move on. But things have shifted and gotten more competitive, meaning we need to stand out and do our job properly. Well, luckily, this is the way the real estate market has been for most of my career. I've been doing this since 2009, and there's really only been a couple short windows where the market was crazy busy and super heated like it was during the pandemic. Now we're back to much more normal conditions, and we've got to run this playbook. So stick with me on this video if you're interested in knowing the ins and outs of selling your home from someone who's been doing it at a very high level for quite some time. My name is Jeff Thibodeau. I'm a real estate broker here in Brantford, and if you need some help selling your home, getting a playbook together to get the top price, get your home over the finish line with that sold sticker on it, just reach out to me. All my contact information is below. I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get right into it. So the first thing is, when it comes to selling your home, you need to be educated about the real estate market. And between transactions, most people really don't care about the real estate market. Maybe you read some headlines, is it good, is it bad, where are interest rates at? But I tend to study the real estate market very deeply on a week-to-week basis, making reports for our sales team and doing up my analysis right here on this YouTube channel. It can be overwhelming as a homeowner to try to distill and understand all this information, but the one piece of statistical information I want you to get familiar with is called the month's supply of homes. Now, this is a statistical measure of really, are we talking about a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market? And what they do is they take the total number of homes for sale, and then they divide that by the number of homes that have been sold in the past 30 days. And you can do this calculation for the entire country, for the entire city, or even down to just your neighborhood or just your home style. And when we get this calculation done, it really breaks down and tells us what type of market we're entering and the approach we're going to need to take. So historically, if we divide this number, anything between like a 0 and a 3, we would call that a seller's market, meaning the sellers have the advantage. There's somewhere less than 3 times the number of homes for sale than are selling every month. And this means that the buyers have fewer homes to choose from when they're out there shopping, and you might even find yourself receiving multiple offers. If the month supply number falls somewhere between 0 and 1.5, which is where it was hanging out during the pandemic, that's when things get really crazy, because buyers feel like there's almost no choice available, so they act in a frenzy, and they have to compete against each other. On the far other side of the spectrum is a buyer's market. And traditionally, the number has been like 6 months supply or higher, we would consider to be a buyer's market. Now, we haven't seen numbers like that in Brantford or in Southern Ontario since like way at the beginning of my career. Like we're talking, 2008, 2009. So it's all relative. A lot of people would be feeling right now that it feels more like a buyer's market right now, but actually what we're in a balanced market. So a balanced market is in the middle. It's kind of anything between, that 4 to 6 month supply. And that means there's a nice healthy balance in the market. When I go out with a client on the weekend, we can go see a handful of homes, sleep on it, take our time, make an offer, negotiate a good price, even have home inspection and financing conditions. So understanding this number is your first key to success, because we're going to have a much different strategy if you're selling your home in a seller's market than if you're selling your home in a buyer's market. So if you need help calculating this number or looking where to find it, just leave me a comment or reach out to me in the DMs, and I can pull this number real time, show you a chart of where it is for your house. The next thing that is really important when it comes to selling your home is understanding the type of buyer you're going to be attracting. And of course, we want to think about, is it going to be maybe a family or retirees? Is it first-time home buyers? Maybe your home appeals to investors or a multi-generational style of living. But what I'm actually talking about here is more about the condition of the home and the group of buyers it's going to attract. And when we look out in the marketplace, working with home buyers, there's really 3 main groups of home buyers. The first one is the one you hope to attract. We call this the premium move-in ready buyer. These type of buyers, they prioritize convenience. They don't want to be doing renovations and improvements to the home. They want the home in premium move-in ready condition. They usually have high incomes, they have good pre-approvals, and they're ready to write that check. The homes that attract to these people too, they look the best online, so they attract the most buyers, and they tend to be the ones that sell for the premium prices. Now, of course, there's going to be some work to do to bring your home up to this level, but if you want to attract a premium move-in ready buyer, then we've got to put that plan in place to bring your home up and present it that way. The next group of buyers is the majority of the market. It's the type of buyer I am and a lot of people are. We call this a move-in and renovate buyer. This type of buyer is going to accept some deficiencies in the home. Hopefully it's mostly just decor stuff. We're going to get into the big deficiencies in a minute. But perhaps, they still want the home to be move-in ready. They want to be able to move their furniture in the first week, but then as they live there, they're going to change and improve things. So these could be small things like paint color, potentially swapping out the flooring, or big things like they maybe want to move a wall or do a big kitchen renovation. What these people do though when they go shopping for homes is when they're in the home, they're using a mental calculator all the time, and they're kind of adding up the work they want to do. And then they're looking at your asking price and kind of adding in all the money they're going to need to spend. And those two numbers need to come in within their budget. So it's important when we're marketing a home to a move-in and renovate style buyer that we build into our pricing some of those improvements that the buyer is going to want to do. The third group of buyers out there, we call them the flippers, investors, the deal seekers, right? These people are buying a home with a business mentality. They could be professional renovators, or it could just be the type of home buyer that wants to take on a big project. But nobody's looking to overpay for a project because they're looking to get something at a deal because the current homeowner has completely let it go. They've probably neglected all the major items of the home. Maybe they don't even live in it anymore, or it's been abused by a tenant. But to market to these type of buyers, we really got to focus on the price of the home, cleaning it up the best we can, and getting it out there on the market. Now, the next thing to understand when it comes to selling your home is market value. This one trips up a lot of sellers. Market value, quite simply, is the predicted price that a home buyer is going to pay given everything else that's going on in the market, including the other homes that are for sale. It can be a bit confusing because you might think, well, this is how much I bought my house for, and this is how much I put in renovations. Or you might think, oh, this is what the bank told me it was worth when we got our mortgage renewed and we did an appraisal. But none of that really matters because the real estate market is a free competitive market. So what really matters is what's been going on recently with the most similar and most recent sales in your neighborhood. So what we want to do as we're heading into the market is do a very transparent prediction of market value so that you have an educated position to understand this is what I expect my home to be worth in this market, and you can make your planning and your budgeting around that. Now, there are ways to change the market value of your home, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But it's really important to get a clear view of the market value. I see a big mistake a lot of home sellers make is they take an aspirational pricing, like this is the number I need or I want to make my plans exciting, and they go to market with that price and they have no success in selling their home. But if you truly understand what the real market value is of your property and you take it to market with that price, you almost immediately start to get interest and offers. The most important things we look at when determining market value is one, the real estate market conditions, which we talked about a little earlier. And then we're going to look at the most recent sales of similar homes, but we're also going to look at properties that tried to sell and they failed. And then last but not least, we want to look at what's currently available. And we want to step back from your own house and look at it as a buyer would and think, if I had to go out this weekend and pick from all these houses that are available, how does your property fit in this mix in terms of offering a good deal to the buyers? Now, back to the market conditions, when we're in an extreme seller's market, there's very little for the buyer to compare against. So, they might only be able to go out and see one or two homes on a given day. And if they don't offer on one of them, it could be sold to somebody else. In a buyer's market, there's lots more choice. I might, like today, for example, as I make this video, later today, I'm going out to see 11 homes, all in the similar price range and similar neighborhood, all with one group of buyers. So they're going to go look at 11 homes and potentially pick one, or they might not even decide on one today. In that type of environment, it's obvious that the buyers are going to choose the most value-priced property on the market. So we have to make sure our combination of the home we're presenting plus the price we're offering, that is the winning the winning property on the market this weekend. Okay, so maybe we bring your market value analysis in, and the way your home currently sits, you're looking at the number we present and it's not as exciting as you want. Everyone I talk to wants to get the most money they can when it comes time to sell their home. Well, it's going to take a little bit of work, and there's a few main categories we want to focus on. First is the minor repairs and upgrades. These are things that are mostly going to take a little bit of elbow grease, not a whole lot of money. It can be things like fixing up the nicks in your trim work, fresh coat of paint, putty filling those holes in the walls, right? These are little things that we can do to help improve the home and take them off the list of that move-in and renovate type buyer, or at least have them overlook them. We want people getting an overall impression on your home and falling in love with it, not walking around with a little notepad thinking about all the little things. The other thing with the minor upgrades and repairs is when there's a lot of them when you're looking at a house, it gives you the sense that the homeowners didn't really care for the big things either, and you have a much more particular look at all the areas of the home and start knocking things off with your mental calculator. So we definitely want to really spend some time, go through the house with a fine-tooth comb and make a plan to do these minor repairs and upgrades in the weeks leading up to coming on the market. The next section of things that improve your home value, we'll call them the major repairs and upgrades, right? These are big red flags. They're going to cut you off from premium move-in renovate buyers, and also the premium move-in buyers. They're not even going to want your house if it's got these red flags. And then the move-in and renovate style buyer, they're going to typically overestimate the cost. So for example, say if it's going to cost you $5,000 to put a new roof on your home, the buyer will probably estimate that it's going to be like $10,000 and want that built into the price. So these items also are very important to take care of, especially in a slower buyer's market. Your buyer for your home is most likely going to include a home inspection condition, and the home inspector is going to flag these items immediately when they find them, and then they're going to overestimate the cost too, because no one's going to underestimate the cost. So we're talking about big mechanical or structural things: the roof, the foundation, the doors and windows, the furnace, the air conditioning, any issues with the plumbing or electrical system. These are big ones. Or even glaring things like, you've got an obvious like interior leak happening. So these things, they look like big problems, they look like expensive problems, and if we don't correct them, we're pretty much only marketing your home to those professional deal seekers and renovators who want to pay the bottom price, not the top price. The next thing on the list is landscaping and curb appeal. Look, I'm a homeowner too, and it's really easy to kind of get used to the way your home looks and the way that you approach your home from the street to your front door. In fact, many people don't even use their front door because they're coming in through a garage or potentially a side door of their own home. But we have to remember that the exterior photo of your home is the first impression the buyer's going to get online, and it's usually the picture that makes them choose whether even to look deeper into the listing. Second to that, when they come for their first viewing, this is their first impression and first experience of the home too. So we want to take some time to back up. Like, I would advise you to go out, stand on the street, take a critical look at your home, and walk up to the front door, spend some time on your front porch. And we want to look around and make that experience really nice, whether that's a fresh coat of paint on the door, getting rid of all those cobwebs, maybe a new light fixture, some new house numbers, and definitely taking care of the overall look of the front of the house with a little bit of new landscaping, putting some mulch down, cleaning up the gardens. This is a little bit of work that can really make a big difference when we realize that this is your buyer's first impression and they're going to be already judging your home before they walk in the front door. Okay, now when we get into the house, one that you might be familiar with is decluttering, right? This is a big one. We all live in our houses and we acquire things and we leave stuff out, like all this stuff on my shelf behind me, because we like it, and we decorate and we fill our homes with things we love. But when it comes time to sell your home, it's time to pack all that stuff away. A good piece of advice from a home staging team was to think about having most horizontal surfaces in your home clear of all clutter. That starts at the floor, right? We don't want to have things just sitting around on the floor, and then it moves up to coffee tables, shelves, counters, and even the top of cabinets. We like to have everything out and accessible, but what this really does is it tells a buyer subconsciously that there's not enough storage or there's not enough space in this house. Secondly, when we think about decluttering entire rooms, we want to pare down the furniture in the room to the bare minimum to get a sense of what that room is. Now the room's going to feel more open and airier and easier to walk through. Remember, there could be a group of 4 or 5, even more people coming to view your home at the same time, and they're going to be walking around. People buy homes based on the feel of them, not by the square footage number on paper. So when we declutter a home, we make it feel bigger, we make it feel, easier to live in. When a home's so full that we're walking around everything and there's stuff everywhere, it makes even a large home feel really small. So that's a big, big important step. The opposite side of that is something we call home staging, which is actually bringing things back into the home. Now, home staging is really important if your home is vacant, if you've already moved out, or potentially it was a rental property or a renovation project. In my experience, most buyers just have no ability to visualize a space if it doesn't have some furnishings and some decor in it. And second, it feels really cold and unlived in to have these big empty rooms. So if you don't have enough stuff in your home, a great tip is to bring in some things. We provide a home staging consultation with our listing service where we go through room by room and try to figure out, do we need to add anything to this space to make it, more appealing to the potential buyer. In a recent listing I was just at, the whole house was beautiful, but then down in the basement, it was kind of the dumping ground for the leftover furniture in the home. There was just like a weird table over here and, an exercise bike in the other corner. And I was like, we got a ton of square footage here. This is an entire another living space. What we need to do is wipe this stuff out and bring in a nice set of couches, coffee table, and make this feel like it's an entire another living room. And that sense again now changes that from just a dumping and storage area to more square footage in the home. Okay, last but not least on the increasing your home value checklist is cleaning. I can't tell you how many times I go into a house with buyers and it's dirty. It makes a horrible first impression because you can't really see dirt and cobwebs and things like that on photos. So you go into the viewing thinking this is going to be this really nice, beautiful home, and then you walk into it and you're like, oh, either the smell or the feel, or you look around on the baseboards, the grout in the tiles, in the corners, there's cobwebs, the appliances aren't cared for well. All that tells you is that this home probably wasn't cared for well. And I've never met a single person that wants to move into a dirty house. So if this isn't something that you get excited about, I would highly recommend a professional deep cleaning service. Spend a few $100s. This is going to be the best money you ever spent, no matter the condition of your home. The cleaner it is, the more buyers are going to like it, whether it's a renovation project or it's a premium, just finished, project. Huge tip and probably the best ROI you can spend. Okay, let's shift our gears. Assuming now we've got the home ready for the market, I want to talk about modern marketing in 2023. Even when I started in this career, cell phones, the iPhone was kind of brand new. Professional photography, home staging, videos didn't really exist, right? Social media wasn't really a thing yet. So I've seen the entire transition of real estate marketing. And today, the vast majority of home buyers, almost all of them, shop online first. So we really have to focus on getting very high quality photography and an accurate, compelling listing online. That's how the buyers are going to consider whether they even waste any time coming to your home. So we spend a lot of time getting each room ready, taking that amazing magazine quality shot of that room, and even spending a lot of time afterwards editing each of those photos and putting a lot of care into it. That kit of photos and that online listing on the public MLS system is going to be the first impression a buyer has, and they're going to be deciding based on that listing if they want to come and view the home and potentially come into it excited or come into it kind of already hesitant about the property. In addition to that, today's social media channels are where people spend a lot of their time when they're just browsing the internet and enjoying themselves. So creating custom content, both images, graphics, videos in the right formats for the right channels and getting them posted and out there, and not only posted, but advertised. We want to make sure that we're forcing that content into people's news feeds and doing it in a targeted way so that the potential buyers are seeing your advertisements in the places they already are. And then the last thing that's most important on my checklist here is that we run a continuous promotion. We want to be running advertising 24/7 from the day you list your home to the day it's sold. We get our most energy right out of the gate. Usually the first weekend or two is very busy. And if we haven't sold your home within those first couple of weeks, it takes more and more marketing effort to keep attracting more buyers to see your home. So we've got to make sure we have a plan to continuously market the property, not just a plan for the first week or two on market. Okay, let's get right into the weeds now. This is really important. I want to talk about choosing the right asking price. We talked a little bit earlier about determining market value, so that's about predicting what the selling price should be. But I always want to caution my sellers that our asking price is actually a marketing price. It's going to be the number that gets people either excited about your home and wanting to come see it, maybe lining up with multiple buyers to buy it, or it could be a number that causes them to just go, never mind, that one's not worth seeing. And so over my career, we've created three, winning strategies, and I'm just going to lay them out here for you. The first one we call the auction. Now, the auction is designed to have a visible asking price that's so low that people think it's almost too good to be true. It's going to attract multiple buyers to want to come and see the home all at once. And if it works right, we get multiple bidders. And then those bidders fight each other to give you a premium price for your home. Now, this strategy isn't for everyone. First of all, you have to be comfortable with it as a seller. But second of all, we also have to have a track record in the market that there are enough buyers out there for this to work for your home, right? If you have a very unique home or you're in the upper price range of your city, it's probably not going to work. But if we see that several people in the last few months have also achieved this strategy, then we know that there's tons of buyers out there. And if we get them all excited about the home at the same time, we can potentially sell your home for even more than it's worth. The second strategy we call the winner, and I call it that because it gets the job done. This is the one that the majority of sellers should be doing. And this is where we take our asking price and we peg it almost exactly where market value should be. This is really important. We don't want to add a ton of wiggle room or negotiation room into the price. Every time we move the price up, we're knocking potential buyers out from even making an offer. So when we look at our market value analysis, we're going to pin the price right around where it should be. And this one should bring all qualified buyers to consider it. And ultimately, someone's going to make you an offer. There is a small chance of getting multiple bids, but much more likely is we're going to get a fair, strong offer, and we're going to end up somewhere right around our asking price. Now, the third strategy is for these homes that really don't have an equal. Every month or so, a home comes to the market that is going to set the new high sale price. That's how the prices just keep going up. And so somebody's got to do that. And so if you have a home that is totally renovated, it's got some premium features, or it's a premium lot, and the other comparable sales don't really show that they're the same, right? You've got a unique asset here. So we want to go for that premium price. Now, the key with this is that we have to have a premium product as well. So if we're going to go try and get the new high bar premium price, we got to do everything on that list. The minor repairs, the major repairs, the staging, the decluttering, the landscaping, the curb appeal. We want to do all of that. And then we have to go crazy with the marketing, right? And sometimes this is going to be a little bit longer process, because ultimately, if we want a premium price, we need the perfect buyer, not just any buyer. We need someone who values that home exactly the way that you value it and is willing to pay that ticket. Now, this price also still has to be within range. We can't be, totally out of whack, but we can achieve a new high price, the record sale price of a home like yours. There is a plan for that if that's your goal. Okay, a couple more topics I want to touch on. Thanks for sticking with me this far. Again, if this information is helpful to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. And if you want some help one-on-one getting your home ready for the market, coming up with your strategy, just reach out to me. All my contact information is below. So the next most important thing I want to talk about is doing it right the first time. This is a big issue in today's market right now. When I analyze the market, I see a ton of people changing their price up and down, canceling their listing, putting it back on the market over and over again. And the longer your home sits on the market, the less excitement there is, right? And you only really get one chance to do this, because in the background, even if you take your home off the market, put it back on, change the price, that whole history never goes away. We can see every attempt, we can see the whole history of the property. Every time you change the price or readjust the strategy, the educated realtors and the consumers with the newest apps can see all this data too. This is why we want to take a very strategic approach to make sure we come to market right the first time, with the right product, the right marketing, and the right asking price. If you do this all perfectly, you're going to get an offer the first couple weeks on market. And the reason is, when you're just getting your home ready for market, there's buyers out there shopping. They don't even know your home's available. So they don't like any of the current inventory. They're waiting for something new to come on the market. So when we launch your home, it hits that big pool of buyers all at the same time through all their automatic emails, their realtors calling them up, the advertisements going out. They all see this new fresh thing and they all want to come see it. This is our best chance to get the best price for your home. Time and money go together in real estate. Best price usually happens with a quick sale. Now, if you don't get it done that first couple weeks on market, now what happens is we can adjust the price, we can change things, but really we're waiting for new buyers to enter the market. The buyers that already saw your house have already kind of given up on it for one reason or another, and it's a much slower process. So you may only be getting a handful of showings every week. You know, it could feel like a long drawn out process. My big advice to you is to slow down and make sure we have a plan that gets it done right the first time. Now, let's say you don't, right? Maybe you don't listen to that first piece of advice. We go to market and we don't really get any solid interest. Well, we have to be able to diagnose that problem and change course quickly. My advice here would be look at the average days to sell in your marketplace and plan on having a strategy talk just before that. So say if it's the average time to sell is 1 month, maybe we're planning a 3-week conversation if we haven't got the home sold to pivot our strategy. How I diagnose a problem is pretty straightforward. First, we're going to look at, is the home getting its online attention? The answer should be yes, unless the real estate agent's doing a terrible job marketing it or posted it incorrectly. But we should be able to show, okay, it's getting eyeballs on it, buyers are considering it. The problem is nobody's booking any showings. So the issue there is that the marketing and the asking price and the pictures of the home, they're not compelling people to want to come see it in person. So we got to make a correction there. The second challenge would be that you're getting a lot of showings, but no one's writing you an offer. And the challenge there usually is that the marketing's doing a good job of getting people to want to come and see it in the person, but then the experience of coming to see the home in person is not exciting enough to make people want to correct or to submit an offer on the home. They're either waiting for something else or they're offering on one of your neighbor's properties. And so there we want to look at the inside of the home. It may be a cleaning or minor repair issue. It might have been that the photography is making the home seem bigger than it really is. We got to diagnose the problem there. The real goal ultimately is to get buyers to sign offers, and then we're going to go to work negotiating them. So it might be time for a drastic change. Maybe we're going to, pull the house off the market, do some of those different repairs, maybe switch up some of the staging, clean the house properly, and come back to market with a more realistic price. If we can do this, we can usually get the job done in the second try. You definitely don't want to be going on to third, fourth, or fifth try. Then the buyers are just really looking at it like it's either a no chance sale or this seller looks really desperate. So if we don't get the job done with our first strategy, we want to change course quickly and get it done on try 2. Okay, you made it to the end of the video. The last thing I want to say here is it's very important to actually create a plan. You can watch all this video, you can stick with me for 28 minutes, and then what happens is people get all caught up. Maybe they find the home they want to buy, or they just change their minds in an instant and say, let's sell our house. I want it on the weekend, the market this weekend. And that's the big mistake, is rushing the process, right? We want to actually slow down. It should take a few weeks to get your home on market. And what we can do in the meantime, what I do with all of my clients is we're going to come sit in the home and make a plan. And then I'm going to go out and actually start pre-marketing your home while we're getting it ready, while the cleaning's happening, while the staging's happening, while the media collection is all happening. That's all happening in a very logical plan. But during that time, we already start the marketing. So we want to build up interest to the home. We want to let people know that if you're out shopping now, hey, wait for this one. It's coming soon, right? And there's a lot of different ways we can do that through signage, through our digital media. This is really important because then what we do is we launch, right? We come to market with the right plan. We want to have everything ready on day one, assuming that the very first person that looks at your home, comes and views it in person, might be your buyer. So we want to have it all done and ready. Nothing worse than when we go to see a home and it's like, oh, they're still getting it ready, or home launches on the MLS system and the photos aren't there yet. This stuff used to work 15 years ago because the pace of things wasn't as fast, but now we're in an instant society. So my biggest piece of advice in all this is we need to make a plan to bring your home to market and not just rush it. So where do we go from here? Well, if you found this information useful, thank you. Appreciate you sticking around. Definitely let me know and leave me a comment. But if you're ready, if you want to start this process for yourself, I find it most helpful when clients of mine reach out to me 3 to 6 months in advance of actually wanting to sell their home. This way we can really take a strategic approach to it, make sure we're timing it in the right season, we're taking care of all these items in the property, we're planning the launch. So even if you're thinking next year or next season, this is the time that we actually set an appointment. And here's how it works. The first thing we're going to do is have a telephone call, and we're just going to go over your plan, your goals, and I can give you some advice on the market and other things that I'm seeing. We can share the sale prices of your neighbors' homes and all that kind of stuff over the telephone. Then step 2 would be for me to come out to the home in person, and we're going to go room by room by room, and I'm going to get all the cool information, learn about everything you've done to improve and care for your home, and then we're going to make a plan, right? And we're going to leave that meeting with a very specific plan on what we're going to do to bring your home to market. And from there, now we're working as a team. So if this is interesting to you, first step's a phone call, all my information is below, and then second step is we come out to the home in person. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and there's going to be lots more information. Stay tuned. The real estate market is very interesting this year, and so having this key plan is going to be your key to success. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next video.